Jaden Myrick sought permission from defendant Williams to stab Mr. Bennett while Mr. Bennett resided with Mr. Myrick at the jail. Mr. Myrick reached out to co-indictee Khalif Adams, who reached out to co-indictee Demikion Garlington to get permission from Mr. Williams. Demikion Garlington was also involved in the back and forth shootings back in 2015. On February 9, 2022, Rashawn Bennett was stabbed by Jaden Myrick at the Fulton County Jail. And after that stabbing, Mr. Myrick reached out multiple times to Mr. Adams for some type of compensation for the stabbing.
Took
Mr.
the deal.
Adams reached out to Mr. Garlington about the
I
payment
said this
for the
yesterday, though.
On February the 22nd, 2022,
I knew yesterday.
YSL co-conspirator and co-indictee Christian Eppinger called YSL co-conspirator Antonio Sunland to get permission to finish what Mr. Myrick could not complete, that is the killing of Mr. Bennett. Mr. Eppinger asked for payment for a lawyer. However, these calls were intercepted.
And I said he took the deal yesterday.
Located in March 2022.
Go look at my video.
About the stabbing made the news, and shortly thereafter, a series of violent offenses occurred. On March 11, 2022,
it's a video I did yesterday.
Associates Christian McMiller and Darius Ford.
When the other when Lil Rod had took the deal. When Lil Rod took the deal.
Mr. Ford was also a friend of Mr. Williams.
I said it at the end of the video. I had told him like, hey, Thug took the deal. I didn't know his numbers then. And I said that. I say, just believe me though, I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Stephen Harris and YFN territory occurred. And a YFN member was shot in the head. March 11th through March 14th, there were a number of social media posts going back and forth between members of YSL.
You will see it on the thing. It say breaking news.
One of them was a post by Shannon Stillwell. We ain't the only one who ain't gonna be crying. That's going to be crying.
So you rock with me over here, you get it early. See what I'm saying?
Shamel Drink and
y'all hit the like button.
On March 14th, 2022, after YSL members spotted Mr. Drinks at a gas station, Mr. Drinks was gunned down as he drove away from the gas station and waited at a red light. Later, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Garlington, and Mr. Farley were all charged with the murder. That is one of the acts that we are still would anticipate the court seeing the evidence of during the course of this trial. After grand warrants were issued after this indictment for Mr. Williams and 27 other co-conspirators, following searches of phones, wiretaps, and other information that led police to understand the role that Mr. Williams played in the YSL street gang and enterprise. Mr. Williams' home, he was arrested at his home and a search warrant was executed inside his home. While at his home, a sale amount.
I don't really feel no way for a nigga that be wearing dresses.
He is charged with in this
I know what they say down there.
Also found.
I know they say he King Slime down there. I know. But I don't really know how I feel though. Like, I don't support niggas wearing dresses. And it seemed like if that's what the nigga was into and what he wanted to do, he going to the right place. Am I lying? Did I lie? Hold on, I'm finna finish it, y'all. I gotta make sure this. Look, I ain't going. We're gonna get right back to it. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. That ain't it. That ain't it. go. We got action. We got action.
Now, was the machine gun with which the defendant has been charged in this indictment.
Y'all leave a comment. How y'all feel about
The
this
gun
thug
had a
situation? Him
switch.
taking the deal. How y'all feel?
The narcotics included marijuana, codeine, and cocaine. And inside the home were also other guns besides the gun with the switch. The items were seized and Mr. Williams subsequently arrested, along with other YSL members at Mr. Williams' home.
This the end.
Your Honor, that is the evidence that I believe has been shown throughout the course of this trial.
I think they try to hit him with like 45 and make him serve 20.
Several messages.
We listening now. We listening together. Don't go nowhere. Just make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this live,
the cell phones that were recovered,
and make sure you roll up something while you kicking it with me.
Besides the
so think 40, 45, and they trying to take this. Sir, 25. Sir, 20.
Tells Mr. Williams he has a new number. Mr. Huey asked Mr. Williams, hey, my brother, I'm fucked up. You ain't got nobody I can pull up on and have something in my pocket. Mr. Williams responds flat. Let me call BEO. Mr. Huey responding flat. I need you, my brother. Mr. Huey saying, asking whether or not a lawyer was going to go and talk to another YSL associate, asking Mr. Williams to send him some money to pay his lawyer off. Mr. Williams asking Mr. Huey, who had been accused of armed robbery, what did he want? Mr. Huey responded with a number. Mr. Williams responded flat. After Mr. Williams stole a star ring from one of the victims in the indictment, he asked Mr. Williams, do you have a star ring? Mr. Williams said yes. Mr. Huey said, flat, you can't cash out me $500 so I can make a payment to my lawyer. Mr. Williams responded flat. Mr. Huey sent him his phone number. Mr. Williams assured him through his responses, flat, that he would take care of them. Throughout Mr. Huey's phone, you see messages of this nature between Mr. and Ms. Williams. The court again will hear that as this trial continues. The recommendation that the state previously made prior to us reaching this point was made with the hope that Mr. Williams would agree to certain conditions of probation to adhere to, and that he would take ownership and responsibility for being the leader of YSL.
I had to go back.
Given that
I ain't looking at it live. It's still live though, right? So I'm looking at the chat. Them motherfuckers, they say he got 15.
Imposing a sentence, we would ask that Ms. Shawana Edmonds, who is the mother of Mr.
15 years probation.
Mr. Huey and Mr. Williams met later.
I gotta skip it now.
Commuted to the time that you have already served. I'm also going to impose a $15,000 on that count. It is required to be run consecutively. I'm going to run it consecutive to count one, but I am going to backload. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not commuted. That is.
Hold on.
And in permitting a NOLA.
Oh, the fuck.
I mean, all right. So that's my high horse on that. I could also go on. But I want you to try to be more of the solution and less of the problem. All right. All right, so it is not lost on the court that the state, had they been able to come to agreement on certain special
Dog doing
conditions,
3
was
years.
willing to entirely dismiss the RICO count.
Thug is finna
was
do
willing
3
to
years
entirely dismiss one of the
and
gang
then
counts, and was
15
willing
years
to
on
entirely
probation.
dismiss this, machine gun count.
Thug coming home in 3
Was
years.
willing to give a sentence that permitted
15 years probation.
Mr. Williams to walk out of the door today, and therefore does not seem to be particularly worried that Mr. Williams, if on the streets, would be a danger to society. I'm taking that into consideration in crafting my sentence. And in permitting a no-low plea to the RICO count in one of the 2 gang counts, I would not be permitting the no-low to the one if you were not pleading guilty to at least one of them. But you are, and y'all admit a factual basis for the counts that you are pleading guilty to. I find there to be a factual basis for those counts, and for the remaining counts with which you are
Coming home.
charged. I'm going to impose a sentence, and I've taken a little bit of the suggested special conditions from the defense and a little bit of the special conditions suggested by the prosecution. On count 1, the court sentence is 20 years to serve 5 years, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years to be probated, and a $25,000 fine. On count 2, the sentence is 5 years to serve, commuted to time served. That's the minimum sentence that's permitted on that count. It is required to be run consecutively. I'm going to run it consecutive to count 1, but I am going to backload. Oh, I'm sorry, that is not commuted. That is 5 years to serve, and it's going to be run consecutively to count 1, backloaded, by which I mean after you serve your 15 years of probation, if you have been successful on that probation, and I sincerely hope that you are, then at the end of that 15 years, I will commute the entire rest of any service portion of your sentence to time served. So I'll get to the end of it and give you the total sentence, but I'm also going to impose a $15,000 fine with regard to that count.
Hathaway, luck.
Count 57, 20 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years probated, concurrent with count 1. Count 58, 10 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, balance probated, concurrent with count 1.
I don't know how they made it this far though.
5 years to serve.
He supposed to have been able to walk out the courtroom months ago.
Concurrent with count 1. 65 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. Count 61, 5 years to serve, that is required to be also a consecutive sentence, so that's going to be run consecutively to count 56 and backloaded. Count 62, 10 years to serve, also required to be served consecutively, that's going to be consecutive to count 61, also backloaded. So essentially, the total sentence is 40 years to serve the first 5 years in prison, but commuted to the time that you have already served, followed by 15 years on probation, followed then by the backloaded 20 years, which can be served in custody and will be served in custody if you are not successful on your probation. If you are successful in completing your 15 years probation, that will be commuted to time served. You are to remain on reporting status for the first half of your probation, active reporting for the first 7.5 years of your probation, and that is pursuant to OCGA 17-10-1 subsection 2, A2A. And Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams, in order to keep him on reporting status, there needs to be good cause shown. We all concede that good cause is shown here.
Stipulate.
All right, I appreciate that. Special conditions of your probation.
Can I have a second?
Sure.
Look, say what that
All
mean?
right. You had enough time to talk with your attorneys?
Yes.
Okay. All right, special conditions of your probation. After 48 hours from your release, you are to stay away from the metro Atlanta area, and that's defined by the U.S. Census Bureau. It may change, but you can look that up anytime to figure out what that is. For the first 10 years of your probation, subject to the following exceptions, you are permitted to be in the metro Atlanta area to attend any wedding, funeral, or graduation from high school, college, or graduate school of any of your immediate family members. And immediate family members is defined the same way that you all were contemplating it when you were negotiating. You can get here up to 24 hours prior to any such event, and you need to leave within 48 hours after any such event. In addition, during each year of your probation, I'm going to require that you come to the metro Atlanta area and make a live anti-gang and anti-gun violence presentation 4 times a year, each year of your probation, at a grade school, a middle school, a boys or girls club, anything like that, that type of group.
Wait a
And
minute.
if you want to, that
I think this
presentation can
nigga-
include a benefit concert. And these
I think this nigga ain't finna
presentations
do
may
no
count
time.
towards your required community service hours.
15 years probation.
That during each year of your probation, you perform 100 hours of community service. You are, and this is required by the fact that there's a gang conviction. You shall not knowingly have contact of any kind or character with any other member or associate of any criminal street gang. Exception to that, if your
None.
brother is a member of any street gang, I hope you talk him
None,
getting out of
dog.
it.
But
On
15
his
years,
career. And then also
the
serve your
stipulations
sentence
is,
as long as you are contractually obligated.
I know
to
they
him.
tight.
Um,
15 years?
That is going to include anybody who is named in this indictment, except as absolutely
Just don't
necessary
leave the house.
to conduct a lawful business of your musical
Just
career. And
go to
any
work,
extent that the state
perform,
is not agreeing to
put out albums,
the
stay in the
exception
house.
for Mr. Kitchens. In the event that that part is not enforceable because it is
That nigga
only
better
a
do what-
portion of a special condition.
better do what I'm
we want
doing.
to Provide that, that be severable from the rest of this. And I'll
Stay in the
put some
house.
Case sites in the Senate sheet for that. You are in no way to promote any criminal street gang or any criminal street gang activity, including on any social media platform. You are
You
not
who
to
you is,
utilize
so
any hand signs, terminology, or language
the action
that
could come to
promotes
him.
any criminal street gang.
And make
You are
sure
not
the
to
action
participate
ain't, you
in
know what I'm
any criminal
saying?
street gang activity.
It ain't that no more. It's, you know
You
what I'm
are
saying?
not
You
to
just chilling.
knowingly engage in any contact with any.
You
any
vibing with the
victims
people
are
that you
listed in
vibe
this
with.
indictment or with any of their family
This
members.
nigga. What?
And you do not have in your possession or with arm's reach any kind of a firearm because you're going to be a
Oh,
convicted felon.
shit.
And that is, except I know that you have security and you need security. You can be within arm's reach of a firearm that is in the possession of either licensed law enforcement or licensed security personnel that are in your security detail or anybody that you're performing with. You are to submit to random drug screens and not use any drugs unless they are prescribed for you by a licensed physician. You are to execute a Fourth Amendment waiver that will permit the search of your person, residence, vehicles, and electronics for any firearms, any criminal street gang paraphernalia, or any illicit drugs. And as I mentioned with regard to one of the,
Powered by Charles. Common energy, waste can get past even the best of us. They're just a little sneakier. You can shed.
been involved to plead guilty, our uniform superior court
Commercial.
is instruct and provide that it is absolutely
Can't
proper
do
for a
shit,
judge
man.
to
But he gotta.
grant leniency
He can
in
get a card for
sentencing
that.
when, quote, the interests of the public and the effective administration of criminal justice are served, unquote. And I think that this plea is in the interest of the public and in the interest of effective administration of justice. Have been trying to ensure that to the
Can't go to
extent that
Atlanta.
this trial also abides by that.
Stay out in Atlanta.
It's been challenging at certain times. I find your plea to be freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered with an understanding of the consequences, and I accept it as such. I also need to inform you that your attorneys were going to represent you through either the last day of this term of court or 30 days from now, whichever is later, and any of the filings that were mentioned that need to be filed within that time, they would file on your behalf unless they are permitted to withdraw from representing you before that time. I am not going to impose the conditions suggested by your counsel about the benefit concerts and the donations to the sheriff's office, but I certainly strongly encourage you to do those things, and to do and continue to do things that benefit your community. And
He better not come on. I
especially
see him
help
put on another
young
dress.
people
I'm be
to
like,
stay out
why
of
they just
criminal
ain't keep
trouble.
this nigga?
And unless there is anything from council
Better
other
not
than
put on
that,
another one.
I have one matter, Your Honor.
okay, and does the state as well?
Your Honor, with regards to Ms. Williams being permitted to come to the Metro Atlanta area or Cleveland Avenue area for funeral or the other items,
Right.
can you also consider, God forbid, there's a serious medical condition of a person that
In
is,
his immediate family,
yeah.
certainly, we can add that. And I also meant to mention, because I know you do travel all over in order to pursue your career, that it's permissible for your probation to be transferred to out of state, and that has to be done through probation, but that is
If he
fine
want to
with
be
the
in
court.
Atlanta, I just have a
And,
club that
you may
always
also
book
keep
me.
your-
I
nobody's
have my own
mentioned this,
club
but
that
keep a
always
passport
book
and travel out of state. And
So I got a
internationally to the
show.
extent that you need to do that for business purposes as
Shit.
well. All right, Mr. Body.
I'm always booked in the same spot. They judge, they love me. Man, what is you saying, man? He already got his 15-year probation.
Thank you.
40-year
and I
tail.
appreciate, well, I cannot even begin to understand what they must, anybody must be going through when they lose a family member to violence or criminal violence. Mr. Williams himself has expressed his own sorrow to the family. I, again, am going to stand by my belief that the appropriate time to hear a victim impact statement from them is at the close of the trial that contains the murder count with regard to their family member. All right, thank you.
That
Okay,
nigga tried to
court
get a
is
victim
adjourned.
statement,
Good luck to you. And I'm gonna have any, there better be.
and they ain't
no
even made it to the
violations,
end. You
but
see
if there
this,
are any,
this,
you're coming back
this
to see me.
dickhead?
All right,
thank you, Your Honor.
and you're,
That's it, Joe. Hold on. What
since the
Yeah. That's it, y'all. Thug on his way home. 15 years. Probation. And the way she was explaining everything is like, he free. Well, that's wild. So Thug then walked it down. And he got what he was supposed to get because I'm gonna tell you, it actually should have been better than that because it shouldn't even made it this far. And from the beginning, if y'all remember, they ain't had no deal for Thug. They wanted Thug so bad. Wasn't no deal for him. Everybody else had a deal though, except for Thug. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe they could have worked something out a long time ago. But they wasn't trying to get this nigga no deal. Maybe this ain't had to go this far. But 15 years? Y'all think he can make it 15 years? But I believe he would have took this at the beginning if y'all was gonna hit him with this. He came out of a lot of money. And Fannie Willis, she should be ashamed of herself the way she run that office. Fannie should be ashamed of herself. They went for Trump. Look where that got her. They go for Thug. She over there. Nathan Wade. And then he turned on her. Because she ain't cross her T's and dot her I's. Now look how she got you all balled up. You had to get up here and look like a fool line for her. See? Female tear down with a nigga that worked so hard for. And this nigga, why must the dog chase the cat? The dude in the dress didn't tell nothing. The dude in the dress didn't say a word. You so 100 with that? I'm going to close this out with that. Ain't nothing else to say. Appreciate you. I'll be back with another one. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this live. Appreciate you. We family. That's crazy. He didn't tell.